Good afternoon. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here today. I'm going to start with a question. What is an education good for? They already introduced me. I'm Roya Mahboob. I'm from Afghanistan. And I'm here to share about how a shy and curious girl ended up with a movie about her life releasing earlier this year. You may have seen Rule Breakers. If you have, you may understand that the movie wasn't only about the story of me. It's about the story of every woman and girls who refused to let the society decide the size of their dreams. I still remember when I was a child, I was watched through a small window how Taliban poured gasoline on our books, TVs, and radios. They tried to burn my future. Then I became a refugee. And even with that, I hold in the power of believing that education matters. Years later, I returned back, and I found a new kind of the window, a computer screen. That glowing computer screen wasn't just a technology. It was a freedom, a world where knowledge wasn't locked away, where the board there didn't decide about my future. That moment changed my life. I went to computer science. I started my own business, and I became the first tech female CEO in Afghanistan. Later on, I started Digital Film Fund, a nonprofit organization, to give the young girls the same chance. Through Digital Film Fund, we built 13 technology centers, and we helped more than 24,000 of the girls to come to our program to learn basic things, to learn about how to work with the computer, to learn about digital literacy, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and coding. We also help hundreds of them to start their own businesses. And in 2017, we introduced to the world Afghan girls robotic team, the Afghan Dreamers. Despite their visa rejection, cultural pushback, limited resources, they could compete internationally. At the end, they did it, we did it. Our team ended up competing all over around the world. We won prizes, we recruit more students and more members. And they could change the perception of the Afghan women in science and engineering in Afghanistan. Our dreamers proved that Afghan girls can do more than anyone expected or imagined if the girls given the chance. But education is not only good for the generational income, it's also good for the saving lives. During the COVID-19, our team used their skills to build open source ventilators in a country that had shortage of the ventilators. They again proved that they are not victim, they weren't victim, but they are builders. They're not just beneficiary, but they are inventors. These victories give us a bigger dream, a dream to building the innovation centers across the world, across Afghanistan. And we decided to build the first Institute of the Artificial Intelligence and Robotics and Blockchain in Afghanistan. For a moment, it was felt real. We signed the contract with the Afghan government, we received the lands, we designed this beautiful campus by help of the University of Yale. And our dream was to see Afghanistan become a country of the source of the engineers and high tech and the scientists, not a country that is always known for its conflict. And then the Taliban returned. When that day came in 2021, we faced with impossible choices. We have to recruit our staff, our teachers, and our top student members of the Afghan Girls Robotic Team. We have to relocate them, find them a scholarship, and giving them new opportunities, a new world. Today, thousands of them are studying in top universities, including here in the United States. They carried with themselves their books, but they carry the hope of their entire generation. Despite the Taliban shutting down our centers and arresting my team, at the end of 2022, we refused to giving up. They find different ways to continue our education, either underground or online. Because education cannot be erased, not by bond, not by arrest, not by fear. We are now over 1,500 days into that 1.4 million Afghan women cannot complete their secondary education. 4 years the Taliban took over. We are now facing with a new generation that they cannot complete their education. World Bank estimated that this would cost us, the poorest country, one of the poorest countries in the nation, 1.4 billion every year. And of course, there is also cost of human. The rise of the child marriage, the rise of the abuse. Maternal mortality is projected to be 50% increase by 2026. 1 in 10 Afghan women have attempted suicide after Taliban took over the country. Women cannot leave their home without male guardian. We are not even allowed to study medicine. And male doctors, in most cases, are forbidden to treat a female patient. Afghan women and girls are more than ever limited to their homes. And closing the digital gap is one of our last tools to reaching Afghan women and girls in Afghanistan. One of our dreamers today studied at aerospace engineering in MIT. Her former classmates in Afghanistan are not allowed to open textbooks. This is different between opportunity and erasure. This is the cost of gender apartheid. But this is not only about the future, it's about the memory as well. When the Taliban came to my home in 1996, the girls, like me, were dreaming going to the schools. But today, millions of these girls are remembering what it was like and what they have lost. They're remembering sitting in the classroom. They're remembering teaching, researching, and working. They're remembering freedom, and it was stripped from them. For 20 years, Afghan youth, especially the young girls, have dreamed of different future. The girls went to the schools, and the women built businesses. They go to the parliament, they become ministers, they become pilots, they study law and medicines. And today, they are not even allowed to go in the park. Before the Taliban take over, I often received threatening letters as a businesswoman and as someone who encouraging others to do the same. The first letter was, don't do this. The second letter was, stop it. And the third letter was, we will kill you. I didn't. My team didn't stop, and the girls didn't stop. Today, Digital Citizen Fund ran underground education centers. We adopted our learning program in a way that the young girls and women and boys, they will be able to study, even with low bandwidth. They are not waiting for their permission. They are taking their education in any way they can. The Taliban do not speak for Afghan. Afghan can speak for themselves. When I started my business, many of the men refused to work for me. Many of my clients refused to pay for the work that we have done for them. And many of my women the colleagues that work for me, they didn't even have permission to open a bank account because they want their mail should give a permission for them. And we adopted our program based on the internet to find our clients and even paying our staff, female staff, by crypto. And today, millions have been thrown into the poverty. And yes, a smartphone alone cannot save Afghan. Education is more than a degree. It's about keeping the spark alive. It's about survival. It's about connection. It's about dignity to contribute. And this is not only about Afghanistan. The gender snapshot of 2025 shows that in least developing countries, 1 in 4 women is online. Despite that, mobile broadband reached to most entire population of that country. Globally, women 20% behind of the men in digital space. When you deny connectivity, you don't limit the opportunity. You are erasing the future. And all of this unfold, we are entering a new era of generational change. Nearly 28% of the women's job at risk of starvation comparing to 21% of the men. Yet women still make up 30% of the tech force and only 40% of the leaderships. Without action, this new revolution, digital revolution, will widen the inequality instead of closing. But opportunity is externally. The talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. So please believe me when I say it is always special for me to speak at the university and see so many girls. Especially because I started my first company at the university with my students and friends at the university. Especially because it was at the university that I learned about computer science and I started my company and becoming the first tech CEO. And began working to make sure that I wouldn't be the last. At 7, I saw my future born through a glass of. At 14, I found a new kind of the window, computer screen. Today, the Afghan girls have thousands of these windows, and the Taliban cannot board them all. Each of us can hold the line for the next generation. Not everyone needs to start their own organization. If you are in a tech, you can mentor a girl. If you're a teacher, you can share your knowledge. If you are running a business, you can provide or offer an internship, or even paying for a date for girls that don't have access to it. And if you are a writer and making a movie, please tell your stories. The challenge is urgent, but opportunity is greater. If we act now, women and girls will not be left behind. They will lead. Thank you.